All right, let's pull back the curtain on this invisible story that gets written every single time you use an app or a website. We're going to dive deep into the world of behavioral analytics and really figure out what our digital footprints are saying about us.
I mean, have you ever really thought about it? Every single thing you do online, that button you decided not to click, the video you watched 3 times, the page you just kind of sat on for a minute, it all adds up. It's painting a picture, telling a story. And the real question is, what is that story? And who's actually reading it?
See, that's the key right there. It's not just about what you're doing, but why you're doing it. That is the absolute heart of behavioral analytics. It's this science of connecting the dots, linking your actions to what you might be trying to achieve. It lets companies get this incredibly deep understanding of what it's actually like to use their product.
Okay, so to make this all a bit less abstract, let's follow the journey of a fictional user. We'll call her Alex, and we're going to see the stories she writes without ever typing a single word.
So here's the deal with Alex. She's looking for a better way to manage her team's projects, right? She does a quick search, and boom, she finds this promising new app called SyncUp. And right there, her journey and the data trail she's about to create, it begins right now.
All right, so these first few moments Alex spends with the app, they are absolutely critical. I mean, companies pay so much attention to this initial, digital handshake.
So here's what her path looks like. First, she lands on the website. Then she signs up for a trial. Okay, cool. Then she creates her first project, and she even invites a teammate. Now, from the company's point of view, this looks like a perfect journey, doesn't it?
But what if she hadn't invited that teammate? Or what if she just stopped right after signing up? Well, this is where a tool called funnel analysis comes into play. Companies literally visualize this journey as a funnel, and they watch to see how many people leak out at each and every step. And trust me, each one of those leaks is a potential lost customer, so plugging those holes can have a massive, massive impact.
And they also zoom in even closer on just those first few clicks. We're talking about onboarding flow analysis. They're asking questions like, was that sign-up button hard to find? Was our tutorial kind of confusing? They dig into all this data to remove any friction and make that first experience totally seamless.
And all of this brings us to the bigger picture, user journey mapping. Look, this isn't just about the first 5 minutes anymore. This is about mapping out every single potential path Alex could take inside SyncUp over weeks or even months. The goal is to understand her complete experience, all the way from being a total novice to becoming an expert user.
So, Alex is on board, she's using the app. But the story doesn't end there. Oh no, it's just getting started. Now, SyncUp wants to make sure she sticks around by constantly improving the product based on her behavior.
So, let's say the design team over at SyncUp has a cool new idea, a sleek, dark mode. I mean, it looks cool, but will it actually make things better for users? Will people even use it? Well, they don't guess, they test.
And to do this, they create 2 different versions of the app's interface. You've got version A, that's the original design, and then you have version B, which introduces the new dark mode. Then they just roll it out. Half the users, maybe including Alex, they see version A. The other half gets version B. This is called A/B testing. The company then just sits back and measures which version leads to more engagement. The data, not somebody's opinion, decides which design wins. And you'd be amazed. A tiny change they discover this way can sometimes lead to huge improvements.
And it gets even more personal. As SyncUp learns that Alex is mostly using the project management features, it might start suggesting templates for project plans. That's personalization analytics, using her past behavior to predict what she'll find most helpful next.
And even after dark mode is launched for everyone, the job still isn't done. They use something called feature adoption analysis to see if people are actually using it. If nobody is, well, that could mean the feature isn't that useful, or maybe it's just too hard to find. Her clicks are what tell the real story.
Okay, so up until now, we've mostly been looking at what Alex has already done. But what if analytics could predict what she's about to do? This is where things get really, really powerful.
Let's just imagine Alex gets super busy. She doesn't log into SyncUp for a whole week. Now, to you and me, that's just a busy week. No big deal. But to SyncUp's analytics system, that's a potential warning sign. It's a change in the pattern.
And that is where churn prediction comes in.
Really sophisticated models analyze the behavior of thousands of users who previously canceled their subscriptions. They find these little patterns, like a sudden drop in usage, that signal a user like Alex might be at risk of churning, leaving the service. The system might then automatically send a helpful email to try and re-engage her.
Now, this pattern matching isn't just for marketing. It's also basically a security guard. If someone suddenly tries to log into Alex's account from a different country at 3 a.m. and download all her data, well, Anomaly and fraud detection systems will flag that behavior as super unusual and potentially block it on the spot.
So we've followed Alex's whole journey, from her very first click to her potential departure. But what does all of this look like from the company's side? And maybe more importantly, what does it mean for us, the users?
Well, from the company's side, it mostly looks like a dashboard. All of those individual stories from users like Alex get rolled up into these high-level metrics. They're not watching Alex. Specifically, they're watching trends across big groups of users, user segments, to make broad decisions about their product.
But here's the thing. Collecting all of this data comes with an immense responsibility. And this brings us to the absolutely critical ideas of governance and privacy. Because we're talking about people's behavior, companies have to be really transparent about what they're collecting and how they're using it. And they have to protect that data like a fortress. So as you go about your day today, using your phone, clicking around online, think about that line. It really is a balance, right? We want our apps to be smart and intuitive and helpful, but we also need them to be respectful of our privacy. The invisible story your clicks tell is being written every single moment. The real question is, who do you trust to read it?